Liquidation, evasion and avoidance schemes. What am I talking about? What I'm talking about is an attempt to avoid insolvent liquidation through an insolvency avoidance scheme. And these schemes are designed to deal with insolvent companies through unethical means, typically by way of selling the shares in the company rather than anything else, and then the director who is running the company resigning. And these schemes are utterly hopeless. The idea that you can stop an investigation into director misconduct by going into this sort of snake oil type scheme is completely and utterly flawed. The scheme will typically involve the sale of a share. It's marketed very often as a sale for £1. But in point of fact, when you do the share transfer, you may have to pay legal fees, and those can be substantial, sometimes even at the same level or more than the cost of going into liquidation and instructing somebody legitimate like ourselves under the Insolvency Act by creditors' voluntary liquidation, or if you were to instruct a solicitor and go into compulsory liquidation in the alternative. These schemes are marketed as dump the debt, keep the assets, get rid of your insolvent company. The simple fact of the matter is you do not get rid of the creditors. You cannot take the assets. The whole thing is a complete scam from start to finish. And if it looks too good to be true, it usually is. Now, the problem is that some naive directors may fall for these schemes. They may be told it'll be all right on the night, but it isn't. The company can still go into liquidation, and very often will do, because these schemes are being clamped down on by the Insolvency Service in the Department of Business, because it's being recognised as a way of avoiding legitimate lawful procedures in the Insolvency Act using this business sale procedure. What a director cannot do is dispose of their misconduct. They can sell their shares if they so wish. They can resign as director, but it will not necessarily, or should not, achieve the avoidance of an investigation. Every insolvent company where there's a loss to be suffered by creditors has to have some form of scrutiny. It doesn't mean that they're going to be turned over left, right and centre. It simply means that there has to be some independent scrutiny into the conduct of the directors. These insolvency avoidance schemes, liquidation avoidance schemes, liquidation evasion schemes, whatever you want to call them, are all typically marketed as schemes to avoid that, and it simply does not work. Questions, queries, concern, give us a shout. We know insolvency, liquidation, inside out.